Welcome to our question and answer session. You can begin the first question.
Question number 1 from Marcus, Singapore. As I practice, I find that the feeling of loneliness and desolation grow in me. I also tend to cry when I listen to Dhamma talks. Why is this so? Am I practicing wrongly?
No, when you practice, when you are not getting the result, then you will be bombarded with these feelings of loneliness because you are not controlling your thoughts, your emotion with your mindfulness. But if you can control your thoughts and mind with mindfulness, then this feeling will disappear. So you have to be vigilant in your practice. You cannot let go of your mindfulness. As soon as you stop being mindful, your thought will start thinking about loneliness, thinking about people that you miss, then it will make you feel lonely. But if you have mindfulness, then you can prevent the mind from creating this feeling of loneliness or sadness. So try to be mindful, because eventually when you can fully control your thoughts, then there won't be a single moment of loneliness. Even if you're alone, you feel always happy. So when you practice, this will be the problem with everyone. You will have lapses of period of loneliness when you are not mindful. So as soon as you know that you are lonely, you should think that this is a red flag reminding you that to be mindful. Chant or recite a mantra. After a few minutes, then this feeling of loneliness can disappear. But as soon as you stop, it might come back again. So this is something to remind you or to push you to be mindful. Look at it in a positive way. When you're feeling lonely or sad, it's like a sign telling you that you're not being mindful. You should start developing mindful right away. As soon as you do, then your feeling of sadness and loneliness will disappear. So the easiest way is to use the mantra, recite a mantra, Bhutto, 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 Bhutto. Stop thinking. Then eventually your sadness and this loneliness will disappear.
Question number 2. How to do contemplation of the 3 characteristics and what is the goal?
Well, the goal of contemplating the 3 characteristics is for you to see the truth, that the things that you crave for or desire for, they can hurt you in the end. They might make you feel good in the beginning when you acquire them, but they will eventually cause you harm, make you sad, because they might not be with you, because they are impermanent. See? Everything that you think that will make you happy, they usually won't stay with you forever. One day, sooner or later, there will be separation from you. And when that happens, then you become sad. Sad is dukkha or suffering. Anicca is impermanent. Anatta is beyond your control. You cannot always control the things that you have to give you around and cause you sadness instead. So this is the purpose of contemplating the 3 characteristics, to see that things change, and when they change, they can cause you sadness or hurt you. They are beyond your ability to control them all the time. Sometimes you can control them, but sometimes you will not be able to control. When you cannot control them, then there will be sadness.
Question number 3 from Tio, Malaysia. I recite mantra my walking hours. I also read Dhamma books and chant in the morning and evening daily. When I meditate, most of the time my breath becomes subtle, but I can't go into samadhi. How to progress from here?
Well, you just have to keep trying, do it. Your mindfulness is not continuous. You still lapse. Your mindfulness still lapse. Is not continuous. So you have to keep reciting the mantra more often. Then eventually when your mindfulness becomes continuous, then your mind can enter into calm, into samadhi.
And if I can go into samadhi, how to stay in it for a long period?
Just use your mindfulness. The stronger your mindfulness, the longer you can stay in there. So if your mindfulness weakens, then you should start reciting the mantra again to keep it inside. If you don't, then eventually you have to stop meditating because your desire or your craving the mind back toward the body to go out and do things, following the cravings or desire. But if you restart your mindfulness, you restart your mantra, then you can push it back inside again.
Question number 5. I can only sit for about an hour. What should I do so that I can sit longer?
Well, after an hour, you should get up and walk instead of sitting and continuing developing mindfulness, reciting a mantra or watch your steps until you feel tired and you want to sit. Then you go back and sit. Then the next time you might be able to sit longer than before. You have to keep alternating your practice between sitting and walking. Try to do it all the time and don't do other things because this is the only way that will make you be able to sit longer.
Question number 6 from Kevin, Malaysia. When I was meditating, I can hear my neighbor was talking very loudly. My anger arose and I was not able to go back to my meditation. My mind kept going back to the anger towards the noise made by my neighbor. What can I do when anger comes during my meditation?
Well, you should blame yourself, not blame your neighbor. You should get an earplug. It's so simple, If you don't want to hear their noise, you just find an earplug and plug it into your ear, so you won't hear their noises. Don't blame them, because the more you blame them, the more angry you become. But if you blame yourself, then you can stop your anger and then seek for a solution. Either find a place where it's quiet or find something to block your ears from receiving any noise.
Question number 7 from Sheila. I often have a lot of energy moving up my body when I meditate. Why does this happen and what should I do?
It's just part of the what you call byproducts of meditating. There'll be many different kinds of phenomena or things that will arise while you practice. The way to deal with them is to ignore them. Don't pay attention. Just think of it as just part of the meditation process. Your goal is to concentrate on your mantra or on your breath so that your mind will become calm. Once your mind becomes calm, then all these things will disappear. All these things that arise while you meditate. But if you pay attention to them and try to deal with them, you will be distracted and you will not be able to continue and proceed and get the result that you want. The way to do this is to ignore. Don't pay attention. Pay attention to your mantra, to your meditation object, and then eventually your mind will become calmer. Then when it becomes calmer, then all these things that appear will disappear.
Question number 8 from Deborah, Canada. When I stay at a monastery, I have to cook and do chores. The advantage is if I have any question, I can ask the abbot. If I stay at my cottage, I can listen to Ajahn Mahabur's talk and yours talk and message you my question. Is it better to practice meditation in a monastery or at my cottage when I am alone?
Well, it depends on the result. Which one is better? You have to look at the result of your practice. If this one is better than the other one, then you choose the one that is better. Look at the result of your practice, the calm and the progress that you make on your practice. Sometimes you might have to switch back with your teacher. Maybe sometimes your teacher can help you solve your obstacles. But sometimes if you're alone, then you can have more time to do your practice. So it depends on what you need, and then you can decide for that particular time whether you should be with your teacher or be alone on.
Question number 9 from Brian, Vancouver. I am an artist and actor and musician living in Vancouver. I have some minor success over the years, but I rarely have experienced a satisfied life energy. I have a few wonderful opportunities coming up soon, which I am grateful for, but ultimately, for many days, I feel alone and sad. Can you please help me find my way again?
Well, according to the Buddha, there's nothing in this world that can give you contentment and satisfaction. No matter how successful you might be, you will still find loneliness and emptiness when you're alone. The only thing in this world that will make you content and happy is the practice of meditation. So you should learn to practice meditation, mindfulness meditation, so that you can stop your thoughts and your emotions, your desire, your craving that makes you feel lonely, that makes you feel hungry for things, makes you feel empty. Once you can stop this, then your mind will be...
Question number 10 from Shayaka, Indonesia. Are Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara and Vijnana made up by the 4 elements?
No, this is part of the knowing element. The 4 elements makes up the body. The earth element, the water, the fire, and the wind element combine to form the body. While the nama khanda, which is Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, this comes from the mind, is part of the mind, which is a knowing element.
Question number 11. If my parents and my sister create emotional distress for me, is it bad karma if I distance myself from them?
No, this is the way to stop creating karma. Because if you remain close to them, you couldn't resist reacting to what they do or say, and then you are creating more karma that way. The way to stop creating new karma is to distance yourself.
Question number 12 from Ivy. My heart knows that I have to let go of things, but my mind will cling to them and worry about many things. What is the difference between the heart and the mind?
It's the same thing. We just refer to the mind as the intellect part, the thinking part, while the heart, the emotional part. So there's no difference. It comes from the same thing, which we call mind or heart. Is the non-physical part of us, the thinking and the knowing part of us. The way for us to go forward from here is to develop the tools that will enable you to let go of everything. You know, clinging is bad for you, because when you cling to things, it can make you sad, it can hurt you. But you cannot let go of them because you don't have the tools or the strength. So you need to develop this tool or the strength, which is composed of the triple training, called the triple training, that of charity, charity or dana, sila or morality, and bhavana, mental development or meditation. You need these three tools to let go of your attachment of different things. You do charity to let go of your attachment to money. You maintain morality to let go of your bad action. And then you do meditation or mind development to get rid of your cravings, your attachment to other things. Once you can practice these three steps, then you will be able to let go of everything. And then you will be peaceful and happy.
Question number 13 from Bhagat, India. What is true faith in Buddhism?
True faith is based on experience. But first you need to have intellectual faith by reading the teaching of the Buddha. You will then generate this intellectual faith. But it's still not true faith because you're still not sure completely 100%. You can only have true faith after you apply the Buddha's teaching in your life. And then you experience the result that you get from this teaching, that it is marvelous and it's good for you. Then once you have experienced the result, then this faith will become real or true faith. Will not ever fade from your mind forever. But if you have intellectual faith, it can fade away. When you don't think about his teaching, when you go do something else, then you can forget what you have learned from your study. And then your faith will then disappear.
Question number 14. What is the right jhana and the wrong jhana?
There is no wrong jhana. The jhana is jhana, concentration of focus on one object, such as the breath or mantra. Then if you keep focusing, then your mind will become more focused, more singular. Eventually will become fully focused, become singular.
Question number 15 from Lee. Does karma determine in which country, such as in rich country or poor country, we are born into?
Well, this is something that the Buddha said you cannot ponder and really think about, because it has involved so many different influences. So you can only contemplate or ponder the law of karma in a general terms, that you do good thing, you reap the good benefits of your good action. Whether you're born in a good family, born rich, born in a rich country, this we can just put it, that is part of your good action.
Question number 16. Can we transfer merits by releasing birds to freedom? And do we have to chant before we release them?
When you release birds, you are giving them freedom. When you feel that you have helped someone to be happy, you become happy. This is what you get from doing charity, helping other people, making other people happy. It will make you happy. Then if you want to transfer this happiness, you can transfer it to those who die, who pass away. Then they can share your happiness. Like we share our happiness through our social media these days. When we see something good, we share to our friends. When they see it, then they can become happy just like we are happy. This is how we can share our happiness.
Question number 17 from Sim. When I have foot reflexology session, I experience a great pain. Then I relax my whole body and I can watch the pain disappear. Is the pain disappear due to the mind detaching itself from the body?
It depends. Sometimes if the pain arises because of the mind creating it, when the mind stops letting it go, then the pain can disappear. But sometimes if it's caused by other source, then even if the mind let go, the pain will not disappear. So it depends on the cause of the pain. Sometimes it's mentally induced. So when the mind stops, then that mentally induced pain can disappear. But if it's caused by something else, such as disease like germs or viruses, like, even if your mind let go, the pain of the body will still remain. But what happens is that the mind will not be disturbed by the pain of the body. The mind will remain calm and not disturbed. The mind can be happy with even when the body is sick.
Question number 18 from Shia. I have difficulties giving metta to one particular person, even though he has metta towards me. What is the root cause of my difficulties in developing metta towards him, and how to solve this?
Because you cannot see the goodness in that person. You only see the bad in that person. So you have to try to study him, look for the good things. Then you might be able to have metta for that person. But if you don't have any metta, you can still live with him as long as you don't have any ill will toward him. Try to stop your ill will by using mindfulness. Whenever you feel ill will toward that person, just recite a mantra. Or try to think of the good thing that he has, especially something that he did good for you, something good for you. Then you might be able to forgive and have goodwill toward that person.
Question number 19 from Annie. My brother has a vision that someone will harm me in the next few months. He wants me to stay away from the person, as it is something that is going to happen in the future. Can it be changed? And what should I do? Because I don't have that kind of vision that my brother has.
Well, this is something that you have to accept. Whatever will be, will be. Something will happen regardless of what you do. So the way to deal with the future is to be calm and be accepting. Then your mind will not be affected. You can be happy regardless of whatever happens. But if you are choosy, you want to have this kind of future and not that kind of future. When you don't get the kind of future you want, then you can be unhappy. So the way to deal with the future is to teach your mind that whatever happens, happens. They are beyond your control. But you can deal with them. If you can keep your mind calm, then your mind can be undisturbed by whatever happens in the future.
Question number 20 from Nitya, Australia. If a female cannot find a suitable place to practice at the monastery, can she attain Nibbana? If she lives in a peaceful house, give dana, practice the 8 precepts and meditate.
Yes, it's not the location alone that determines your success in the practice. What you need to have is the cause for your success, which is the practice of charity, morality, and meditation.
Question number 21. What clothing should I wear while practicing 8 precepts? As a layperson, but not staying in a monastery, can I wear colorful clothing to work while keeping the 8 precepts?
Yes, it doesn't matter what clothing you wear. It's the precept that you keep. But in Thailand, people tend to identify the 8 precepts with white clothing. So when people keep the 8 precepts, they usually put on white clothing. But it's not necessary. You can put on colorful. But then if you put on colorful clothing, it can be a sign that you are not really keeping the 8 precepts. Because one of the precepts stop you from putting on nice clothing. Because we don't want to have happiness from putting on nice clothing. We just want to use clothing just for the protection of the body.
Question number 22. What is the best way to hold a funeral or send off the deceased?
Just either burn, cremate, or bury. That's usually the normal way.
Question number 23 from Savi, Sri Lanka. Is living less involved with society and in isolation a practical method to follow as a lay person?
Well, as a lay person, you still have to have involvement with other people. But if you want to live in isolation, that's because you want to release your mind from this attachment to things, to people that can make you unhappy. So it's a matter of choice what you want to do. If you want to get rid of your sadness, loneliness, unhappiness, or suffering, then you have to develop the meditation practice, which will be successful if you live alone. Because if you live with other people, they can become distraction to your practice. So it's up to you what you want. If you still want to live with people, then you have to stay with people. But if you want to get rid of all your mental or emotional bad feelings, then you have to meditate. And to meditate successfully, you need a quiet environment to be alone, no distraction.
Question number 24. When I see someone caught a fish using fishing rod, I feel very sad towards the fish which is struggling to live, and I feel very angry towards the person who caught the fish. How should I react seeing this type of cruelty? Is it due to the fish's own karma?
Well, you should look at the other side of the picture. The man who fish will become the fish, and the fish will become the man who fish. Then you won't feel bad, because they will then cancel each other out. The man who fish will eventually become the fish, and the fish will become a man who will fish the fish.
And what karma will the person get for committing this type of cruelty killing?
You'll get the same thing that it gives to other people. Give what you take. You take back what you give. You give money, you get money back. You give cruelty, you get cruelty back.
Question number 26. Is it due to my bad karma that I get extremely sensitive when seeing this type of cruelty, because my husband seems to display no sign of anger when he sees this?
It's just your perception of things, which might be different from other people. So this is how we react to things, through our knowledge and perception of things, which we can change if we want to. We can change our reaction. If we have mindfulness, we can control our reaction. And if we have wisdom, if we understand the law of karma, then we won't have this reaction. Then we will say it's just a matter of karma. The fish is paying its own karma. Maybe in the past it was the man who was fishing this man, and now this man is fishing this fish. So it just go on like that. If you can see it like this, then you would not feel disturbed by what you see, cruelty of people toward people or animals.
Question number 27 from Abraham. What motivates an enlightened person to teach the Dhamma? Is it pure compassion?
Well, the Buddha taught the Dhamma out of compassion, but it also have to depend on the enlightened person, whether he has the ability to teach or not. Because teaching ability isn't part of enlightenment. It's part of the nature of that person. Some person can elucidate, can explain things, and make people understand. And some people just don't have that ability. So an enlightened person might teach or might not teach, depending on his ability to teach. And also depending on the students who come for his teaching. Because if he cannot teach, then usually there won't be students to come to see him. But if he can teach, then he will attract students to come and teach. But basically, he teaches out of compassion because he doesn't get anything in return by teaching. Because he has already had all what he had, what he need or what he wants. So teaching is not for any gains. It's out of compassion, seeing that he once was in the same state as people are in now, and he could help them make a difference. So then out of this compassion, he teach the Dhamma to other people.
And is pure compassion the right way to live in this world?
You have to be enlightened before you can have pure compassion. Or else your compassion will still be delusional compassion.
Question number 29 from Ravi, India. In our 10-day Vipassana course in India taught by Goenka, we are taught to do 3 days Anapanasati, then jump to 4 days Vipassana practice. On our last day, the teacher asked us to practice Vipassana when we go back home. You teach us to develop Sati first, Samadhi, then Vipassana. Why do Goenka course focus more on Vipassana?
Well, it wants to give you a complete course. But in reality, you don't do this in 7 days' time. Sometimes it takes years before you can develop samadhi, mindfulness. But this is just a course to give you a glimpse of what you should do. But in reality, you still have to go through the steps. First, you have to develop mindfulness and be able to sit and enter into jhana and be very proficient in your jhana practice before you can move up to the vipassana level. But when they give you a course, they want to give you sort of a sample of what you should be doing. But in reality, you have to look where you are and what can you do now and before you can move to the next steps.
คุณคริสถามนะครับ How many minutes does one need to meditate per day to get the real benefits from the practice? Is 30 minutes sufficient enough to see any real benefits or get any results?
It's not the length of time that determines the benefits. The things that determine the benefit is the result of your practice. If you can calm your mind, then you will reap the benefit right away. And the longer you stay reaping the benefit, the more benefit you get. So it's not the time alone, not the factor, because you can sit for many minutes or even many hours and not reaping any benefit. If you haven't achieved the result, that means making the mind calm and still and happy. So it's not the time alone that determines. It's the result that determines the benefit. If you can sit down and even just for 5 minutes and your mind become calm and happy, It's better than sitting for half an hour and not being calm or happy.
คุณลียองฮะท่านอาจารย์ is there a right timing or right condition for one to make a big decision to leave his family for regular meditation retreat?
For everybody, there's a time, but the time is different for each everyone. It depends on the conditions that support your decision, whether you have that condition ripe enough or not. If it's ripe enough, then you will have the time to make that decision. If not, then you have to somehow increase the condition so that it will support your decision. So for each individual, there is no fixed time. So for some people, they might do it in 7 days, decide to leave everything. And for some people, it might take them 7 years. So it's different for each different person. You want to ask a question? Okay. You have to speak through the microphone. Speak loud, close to your mouth. Yeah.
Okay, good. So, this is maybe something that I have been thinking, or I thought recently, or an understanding that I want to check with you. So sometimes I feel like I have an attachment to thinking, like I don't feel like meditating or applying mindfulness to the breath. So at those times, do we want to kind of bring the mind, have the mind have a natural peacefulness by either doing like a subha or metta, and then once that there is a little bit of peace, then we'll feel like watching the breath, it'll almost feel natural. Is that
Yes, it's possible. If you can maybe recite a sutta, you try to memorize the sutta and then just keep reciting the sutta, the discourse of the Buddha, or you can use the asupa or the 32 parts of the body. Just keep reciting the names of the 32 parts of the body, such as hair of the head, hair of the body, nail, teeth, skin, flesh, bones, marrow, all these parts, in order to keep your mind busy and prevent it from thinking aimlessly. Then your mind can become calmer, and then you might want to stop, then you can then watch the breath. So you can do this. When you start, you feel that you want to think, so let it think with the Dhamma, think with the 32 parts, the asupa, think of the discourse of the Buddha. You can memorize it and then use it as your meditation object.
So is it okay to do, like, the discourses in the 32 parts are very methodical, which can be good for gaining settling, but is it also okay to kind of think about Dhamma, but in a less like rote way, written out, like, there are drawbacks to sense pleasures, or thinking about anicca, dukkha, anatta?
You can do this later on when you're not meditating, see.
Okay.
When you meditate, you don't want to think intellectually. You want to use the recitation or the memorizing as a way of calming your mind. So you don't want to intellectualize. You just want to just recite, just to keep your mind busy from thinking about something else.
So the other not rote is for like in daily, outside of sitting, kind of just when we encounter things.
Right now, when you're not meditating, then you can think intellectually. You can think in terms of reality.
So, and so the thinking intellectually can just be a distraction when we sit down.
Right. If you want to calm your mind, stop your mind. You don't want to think intellectually because you'll keep thinking. You won't stop thinking, see. So you have to use rote thinking instead.
And then when we have a good degree of stillness, then is it okay to do that, or do we still want to keep?
You can stop and then switch to watching your breath.
And
If you don't want to think anymore, then you just watch your breath instead.
and then once maybe there's good concentration on the breath, then is it okay to switch back to contemplation, or should that
No.
wait?
The goal is to be completely still by focusing, concentrating on your breath. Once you become fully concentrated, then your mind becomes peaceful and calm, and it will be inactive temporarily. It will just be being aware without nothing to be aware of. That's where you want to get to in your meditation, because that's where peace and happiness is. Once you get there, you want to try to sustain it for as long as possible by preventing your mind from start to think. When your mind starts to think, stop it. If you have strong mindfulness, you don't need to use anything to stop it. Just use your mindfulness, just to tell yourself to stop thinking, and it will stop. If it doesn't stop, then you have to use something like a mantra or a chant or something to prevent it from thinking. Then you can continue with your concentration. In the beginning, you want to develop this state of calm for as much as possible first, because it will then serve as the support for your contemplation later on. Because contemplation without calm cannot bring any result. You contemplate to see the harm in your defilements, and you need a calm mind to resist your defilement. See? But you need contemplation to tell you why you have to resist your defilement, because your defilement can only bring you sorrow and pain. You don't want that, so you have to stop your defilement, your greed, your hate, your delusion. But if you don't have a calm mind, you won't be able to stop your defilement. So first you need to develop samadhi before you can go on the next level, which we call wisdom or panya.
And what are some supports that we can have in daily life, maybe especially as lay practitioners, which will help us be better at developing samadhi?
You need a quiet environment to be alone and no distraction from the outside. That will then distract your concentration. So try to find a quiet place and be alone. Don't mingle with anybody, and try to develop mindfulness all the time, from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep. Keep controlling your thoughts, stopping your thoughts. Only use it sparingly, only when you have to. When you have no need to use your thought, then don't use it. And when you don't have to do anything, then try to sit for as long as possible, as many times as possible. The more you do, then the more proficient you will become. It's training, see. The more you train, then the more you will become acquainted with your practice. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And if you have any question, you can read books, or if you can talk to someone who have the experience and ask them for advice. Yeah. You need people who knows to advise you. You cannot practice alone without knowing exactly what you're doing.
And should these people who advise us be people we have confidence have, or at least some right understanding or
Definitely,
solidified?
you have to trust the person you consult with. If you don't trust them, then you don't consult with them. You have to know that, or at least believe that they know something that you don't know, and they can help you. If they cannot help you, then you go look for someone else.
Is it important that they are established on the path to be able to help you?
Well, the more established they are, the more helpful they become. So different people have different level of development. See, so there's the 4 level of noble disciple: Sotapanna, Sakidakami, Anakami, Arahant. These are people who are established on the various level of the path. So it sometimes depends on your luck, who you're gonna run into. If you can run into the Buddha, then you're the most lucky, because the Buddha will be the one who knows almost everything that you want to know. But with other disciples, they might not know as much as the Buddha know. They cannot do as much as the Buddha can do. You can always go to the Buddha by reading his discourses. If you don't trust anybody, just trust the discourse. But then you have to be intelligent enough to be able to understand what you're reading. If you don't understand, then it's not useful. So you can try reading the discourses, or you can look for different teachers. There are many teachers now you can search for on the internet, and then you just have to go and meet them and try them out, like trying a new automobile. Before you buy a new car, you might want to visit different dealers to try different cars to see which car suit you best. Teachers are like that. Sometimes they are established on the path, but their method of teaching might not suit you. So you might have to look for someone else. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, is that all the question? Well, thank you for your question. And if my answer isn't clear enough, please send in more questions, and we'll try to make it clearer the next time. In the meantime, please keep on meditating, and hope that you will advance and move toward the goal of enlightenment. Goodbye for now, and thank you.